Hey, welcome to another episode of the Brad Davison Show. Soon to be renamed.
Yeah.
Wait, episode 30? 30, episode 30. Yeah, soon to be renamed. 30. Yeah. What was the name you came up with for our new podcast?
It's not my name. It's your name. You had it and you casually mentioned it to me.
Yeah, the Raquel Show and maybe Brad.
And maybe Brad sometimes.
Yeah, something like that. No. We have a new name coming. It's going to be Your Ultimate Comeback. So that'll be coming out soon, featuring both Raquel and I. Moving forward from here on out. Can't wait. Super excited. We have a guest with us today.
Yay.
And I'm going to let Raquel introduce her. Awesome. And then I have a story to share.
All right. This is the lovely Shelby Torrese. And Teresa's Pieces is how she told me to remember it. And we've known each other from Raw for 2 or 3 years, maybe?
Yeah.
Is that about right?
Mm-hmm.
And she is amazing. Is responsible for me getting back into eating meat.
Thank God. Sorry.
So all the things. She is really a cool nutritionist, I want to say, except it's nutrition
response tester.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. That sounds even more important. Okay. So then tell us your story, Brad, about Shelby.
Okay. So I go in to see Shelby.
Yes.
To go through her whole program, see what it's all about before we're having the show, and never met her before in person.
But how did I describe her? I said she's the tiniest, cutest little thing.
Yeah, 100%. Right? And you described it right.
Yeah.
Super sweet.
Yeah.
And we sit down and she starts doing this test on me. She goes, okay, no talking during this test. I'm like, okay. And all of a sudden my phone starts vibrating. And it does it again and again and again. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I forgot to turn on my vibrator.
Which I did not hear.
Thank God. Because I was like, I didn't mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
She goes, it's okay. Just stop talking.
Stop talking.
I was so embarrassed.
I did not hear what he said until you just told me that.
Yeah. So, well, good. Because I was beyond embarrassed to the point where I couldn't even get words out. And I was like, you know what I mean.
Yes.
I would have laughed if I'd heard it. But yes, I was like, oh, and like I was just telling Raquel, only men speak in the test after I clearly say, there's no speaking. Do you have anything you want to ask? Anything you want to know before we get started? Because there's no talking.
Shut your mouth, man.
Boom.
Shut your mouth.
Every man that I do the test on, they speak.
Yeah. But I'm sure I'm the only vibrator man.
You're the only vibrator man thus far.
Perfect. Something to remember me by.
Yes, exactly. So Shelby, tell us about what you do. Because I was, I'm trying to think how I got into it with you. I mean, I think because we both work at Raw as well.
Yes.
And did you started your business, has it been 2 years? Is that correct?
I just celebrated my 1 year on Tuesday,
okay.
Wednesday.
I'm making it 2 years for you now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I started out last year, but long before that. So what I do is called nutrition response testing. It's a form of applied kinesiology is how a lot of people know it.
Okay.
It's a form of root cause healing. So what we do is we analyze the body, we look at the organs, we see what's stressing the body out, how can we get the body back to functioning optimally. And I got into it because I grew up always having stomach aches, I had eczema, I had all of these issues that felt uncurable in a sense.
Yes.
I would see dermatologists, gastrosurgeons, allergists, like you name it. I saw everyone under the sun. And finally, someone said, you should try muscle testing. I'd never heard of it, but I was so desperate for help, answers, solutions, most of all. So I went and saw a muscle tester, and within 3 sessions, I was 50% better. I had hives all over my body. I was always itchy, inflamed, everything, like the worst symptoms that just aren't invisible. They're very visible.
Sure.
So it's hard to leave your house and just very uncomfortable. And so if after 3 sessions, I was 50% better, I was like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
I love this. And at the time I was already doing nutrition coaching. So just helping people, adjust their diet. But muscle testing felt like a much more tangible, hands-on way to approach people and help them really get to the root cause of their illness. Because not everybody's diet is the problem. It can be sometimes like a side effect of the problem or making the problems worse, but there's so much more to it. So after a year of seeing her, I went to school for muscle testing. So I did that for 2.5 years, and there's still continued education that I'm going to do. You never stop learning, as you know, in the industry,
Amen.
Whatever it is. And so I opened my doors last year in June, and it's been a blessing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Yeah, so I just had the experience.
Yeah, I'd love you to share how you felt as your first time.
And let's be open book. Like share everything that we talk. Anything you want to share about what you found on me, do that.
Okay, thank you.
Except for that one thing.
Well, I already shared that part. It was my phone. I swear to God.
Yeah,
I swear to God. So you immediately started off with HRV, which we talk a lot about HRV on here. And I knew at that point I was screwed.
He literally looked at me like, oh, I didn't know what we were doing. Like as if he was like, I'm in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what it was. I thought I was coming for like a nutrition consult or something. And you throw this HRV machine, I'm like, oh damn, I'm screwed. Like she's gonna be able to see everything, like how jacked up I am right now because of how stressed I've been. I'm like, but this, I was super stoked that's what you're doing. But then I love that you didn't ask me anything about what I was dealing with. That's always one of my favorite things because the people I've had the most success with in my life with things are people that don't ask for anything up front, but start figuring it out as they're going through the evaluation process. So that was super cool to me. And so as I'm just kind of watching you do your thing and you're testing and you start spitting out like, oh, do you deal with this? I'm like, yeah. Oh, do you deal with this? Yeah. Oh, I'm like, holy cow. Like, so I was like super bought off on it. But there was one point that I really want to talk about because it's the first time anybody's ever come up with this with me. You said, oh, your nervous system is, or sorry, was it your nervous system is flipped?
We call it switched.
Switched. Your nervous system is switched. I'm like, what's that mean? She goes, your basically body's responding opposite of how it's supposed to be. You're the first person that's ever picked that up. I just thought it was a genetic factor for me. Because give you an example, I can have a cup of coffee at 8 o'clock at night and fall asleep at 9:30. Actually, at times helps me even fall asleep.
It's crazy.
But if you give me lemon balm, valerian root, melatonin, things that are supposed to calm me down, they wire the hell out of me. I've just learned like, and then I thought, oh, I have a little bit ADD, and so maybe it was just an ADD thing. Because what I would learn is if I am like spazzing out, if I have caffeine, I calm down, I can focus.
That is the archetype of someone that is switched, getting an opposite reaction than the intention.
Yeah.
So I get a lot of women who, I'm eating well, I'm exercising, I'm gaining weight. Your body is switched. Whatever you're trying to do, the body is doing the opposite because your nervous system's just confused. And that's exactly what came up for you.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm all in. So like, I can't wait to like actually start the treatments with you and all that stuff. But go into a little bit of detail about what it is you're looking for, what it is you're doing. It's very different. I've been through muscle testing and things like that, but how you did it was very different. What you were looking for, what you were testing, like I don't even know how to explain it. I went through it.
Yeah.
But all I know is I got to the end of it. I'm like, I can't wait to see your process and go through your process.
Oh, good. Well, I'm super glad to have you. So I'll talk through it a few different ways. Just like anything, there's a different style or method of doing things. The way that I do it is the way that the person that I first saw did it and the school that I went to, that's how they teach it. And that's where I've seen great success. And I've now seen it with my clients. So this is my preferred strategy. The first thing I look for with everyone that comes through my door is if their body's open to healing. So what that means is whatever we're going to give the body or whatever they're currently giving the body, whether it be supplements, food, I even say love and connection, sleep, is the body able to utilize that? And a lot of people, it's not. And so they get frustrated with buying these expensive supplements, doing these treatments, exercising, all the things, and nothing's changing. So the opposite of switched, getting an opposite reaction, when your body's blocked, nothing's happening. It's nothing you do is going to impact your body, your life. So
how can you tell that?
So it's part of the muscle testing. And this is why I did a full year of free consult because it's so difficult to explain to someone what I do, as I'm sure you're experiencing right now. So I just tell people, come in. Like I can give you my spiel, but until you come in and experience it like you did, it's confusing. And I get that. And that's why I've offered people, just come in, try, see, whether it's for you or not, you'll experience it. And then you can tell someone that you think it would be a good fit for, or you can better explain it. I'm always picking up on different people, how they explain what I do, because I'm still learning how to effectively translate what it is that happens on that bed. Yeah. Yes, the first thing I look for is if the body's open to healing, because if you're not, then nothing else we do will matter. So then after that, we look at...
point.
Yeah. So then after that, we'd look at if the body's switched or not. So I'll give a few more examples of someone that would be switched. A very common example is someone says, at the end of the hall, turn right, and then you turn left. That's someone that's switched. They're
Does that count in classes?
Yeah, it's an opposite reaction.
Oh my gosh.
Unless you're someone that like, I don't know, you're young and you're still learning your left from your right.
Sure.
That's
No, but
different.
I've been teaching to people, and I'm sure you've had this too, and you're saying put your right hand behind your head.
And you say your other right.
Yes. That could be it?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mind blown.
Any opposite reaction. So I always tell people these may not all apply to
Sure.
you. So maybe if that's not an example for you, at night, not being able to fall asleep, feeling awake, or waking up in the morning feeling tired, you're getting an opposite reaction than you're biologically meant to be experiencing. So then we look at if the body's switched, because again, once you're open, and then if you're unswitched, then we can look at the body. Everyone wants to go straight to the body. They're like,
Fix me, Shelby.
Well, really, people want to go straight to their symptoms, which
Sure.
I totally understand. And I believe that all of the health issues that I went through is so that I can empathize with my patients, because I get it. Your symptoms are your problem.
Sure.
You're like, okay, unblock me, unswitch me, but my acne's awful.
Wave your
Fix my
magic
acne.
wand.
Yes, exactly. So, and I try to explain this to people so they know, like, trust the process.
Right.
We can't heal the acne. We can't heal the gut. We can't do anything until we make sure the body's ready for it. And that's where, and this is a tangent, but that's where I really get on all of these social media ads and supplements and programs like the parasite cleanses and everything. It's great if you need it, but if you don't, then you're just wasting a lot of money.
Right.
And it may even do you more harm. So that's another thing. But okay, so once you're open, once you're unswitched, then we look at the body. So we did the body scan on you, and we look at all of your organs and glands and see, okay, what part of the body wants attention? Who is the priority here? Because people want to kind of do everything at once when we really just need to work in layers. So for you, I'm going to give you an example. You as an example, because you gave me that consent. Your liver was your priority, and I see it a lot. I see a lot of liver priorities for women and men, and also a lot of thyroid, a lot of adrenals. And those are my three big ones. But yeah, so we look at the body as which organ is our priority. So for you is liver. And then we see why. What is the stressors what are the stressors at play here?
Yeah. You want to know something wild about this? I started drinking alcohol like a year ago.
Has it been that long?
It's June. Yeah, it's a month away from being a year.
Good for you.
Wow.
And never have had liver enzyme issues ever. My liver enzymes are through the roof, and no doctor can tell me why.
Wow.
That's the one thing on my blood chemistry that's bothering the hell out of me, because I've tried all the supplements, everything. And you would think, I stopped drinking alcohol. Like, I shouldn't have a liver. Like, my liver should be better than ever. And it's worse and just getting worse every month.
Is that a switched reaction, possibly, to his...
What do you mean? Sorry.
Is that the response of his liver to not drinking?
It could be because he is switched and his liver's a priority, but we do kind of operate separately. Like, the reason he switched is not also always the reason his liver's a priority.
Got it.
So can you see why I'm like buying in more and more
Sure.
through this process with her? Like,
Absolutely.
you catch a switch, which I just thought was a genetic thing, and now all of a sudden you're telling me my biggest issue is the thing that's bothering me the most that no one can fix. It's come out of nowhere, but I haven't told her anything about me. Up to this,
Wow.
Zero. I didn't fill anything out. She didn't ask for any background. She didn't ask what was bothering me.
You didn't even know if she was a girl you were supposed to be seeing.
Well, yeah.
That would have been funny, right?
Yeah.
I'll actually respond to that in two ways, because I don't want people to think, she's not going to ask me any questions, because I kind of decide who I start with questions with.
Yeah.
So you came in hot. You came in like you seemed worked up. You seem like you came from a long day. And so the last thing I'm going to have you do is now answer all these questions like you're in an interview. So I'm like, I got to lay this guy down. So that's what we did. So, but it's twofold. And I kind of judge that based on how people walk in the room. So sometimes I will sit down and say, okay, what's going on? Someone that does, let's use acne as an example. Their symptom is the reason they're there to see me. Yeah. So if they go 20 minutes without even ever getting the chance to say, acne is ruining my life, they're going to be like, they don't feel seen.
Right.
So I really judge the person that comes in and see what they need.
Gotcha.
But I do love when we don't talk about what's going on and it comes up, and the people, especially the skeptics, not that I'm saying you are, but the skeptics are like, oh, like I didn't tell her anything. How does she know all this? Because it is a woo-woo practice from the outside.
100%.
So getting to have that feedback and me bring things up without ever sharing that, it's a nice reminder, like, okay, this isn't that woo-woo. You know, there's science to this.
Yeah. I don't know. It's cool. I dug it. I like those kind of scenarios because I am kind of skeptical, right? Like
It's healthy.
yeah, because I'm always trying out new things, looking at new people, and I always come into it from like skeptical mindset. I'm open to it, but I'm always looking for like, where's the thing? And I'm like, oh, okay, there's this flaw here, there's that flaw there. I'm not gonna buy in. So I'm like, as you're going on, I'm like buying more in and more in and more, and I'm like, this is crazy because I've seen a lot of people over the years. And
That's how I felt.
Yeah, no one's picked up on a lot of the things you were picking up on, which are the things that are just really starting to bother me.
Yeah.
Like I should not be able to drink a cup of coffee at 8 o'clock at night.
That is crazy.
And fall asleep.
No.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be able to do that, but it was just weird. And then the whole liver thing has just been bothering the hell out of me. And so when you caught on that, I was like, okay, there's something here.
Yeah.
I definitely believe there's something here. Like it's just, you don't just figure that out in some woo-woo way on an accident.
Yes.
Well, what I'm excited about is to get you on the program and maybe after 6 to 8 months, get a test again and see where you're at.
Yeah.
Now, people that are switched can unswitch, I assume?
Yes. So
Okay.
to explain what I mean by doing the program, so I'm very upfront about what my program entails because if you're not ready to do it, I don't want you starting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
have
what
to
doing
commit.
my program means is keeping a food log, taking your supplements, showing up to appointments. And I say that last one because a lot of people actually aren't ready to heal. You know, they want to hear what you think is, you know, wrong with them and they want to know what the solutions are, but they're not always ready to take that step. So I always include that you have to show up to your appointments because otherwise it's not good for either of us. You may go off and say, you know, Shelby, it didn't really work. And then that looks bad on me. Or then you start feeling like, you know, my symptoms are back. Well, you didn't do the program.
Yeah.
So I'm very clear up front about what that entails.
Now, when we keep a food log, do we have to be like very accurate with our food log?
So because you mentioned ADD.
Can you write down mother's circus animals is what he's really asking, Shelby.
Yes. So my food log is very in depth. And
God.
what I tell, especially my ADD clients, is you can take pictures of your food all day.
Oh, thank God. I can
and
do
That's
that.
a great
And
idea.
then at the end of the day, write it down.
Okay.
Because I don't want you to go off memory because you're going to leave out the stuff you don't want to remember.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Exactly. And B, I understand it's not always easy, especially someone who's busy. You're not always like, okay, well, now it's time to write down everything I just ate. It's not that, you know, convenient. So I work with people, you know, whatever works for you as long as we're doing it.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise it's going to be, oh, it's the end of the day. I didn't write anything. What did I have?
Right.
Oh, grass-fed beef and arugula and no circus animal.
None whatsoever.
And no Snickers bars.
No.
No.
Oh, and all those Reese's you had last night.
That is not confirmed. That is not
Just a
confirmed.
rumor.
It's a rumor.
It's a rumor.
Right.
It may have happened last night. I blame my kids. They left it on the counter.
Oh my God.
They left it right there on the counter. So
my
I'm eating a good dinner and I'm looking at them. And they won. They may have won. They may have won.
That isn't, you know, it's so weird. And this is not me flexing, but that does not do anything for me. Does that do anything for you?
Reese's?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
There's other things that I'm more.
But like,
I mean, I can't tell you the last time I had one, but that would be my Halloween candy of
would
choice.
Would it
oh,
be?
yeah.
Okay. That was the one that was gone out of your bag
Yeah.
first.
I'm like, I would steal all my sisters.
Oh, I love it.
yeah, but like, you put a bag of chips in my house, they're gonna go bad. Like
Oh, interesting.
I have zero cravings for things like chips, things
You're
like that.
not a salty guy.
Not at all.
You're a sweet guy.
I am a sweet guy.
We knew you were sweet.
That's right.
Yes.
But like donuts, candy, things like that. But like chocolate candies, not like I don't like sour candies or
Right.
sugary candies or
That's
sweet
what I
candies.
used to love was the sour
Yeah,
stuff.
it's like chocolate candies or like pastries. It's over. If it's in the house, it's gone.
Game on.
Yeah, it's always been like that for me. But like I just can't. But I put chips in the house and never touch them.
That's wild.
I'll forget they're even in the cupboard.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, now we know your Achilles heel.
yeah.
Wow.
We'll work on it. I get a lot of people with sweet tooths all the time.
I think, well, you've told me that before about the biggest addiction for people. Because when I went through your reset, I said, thanks to Shelby, I already was off caffeine.
Yeah.
I don't drink already. And I think the only thing, I was like, oh, wait, no sugar?
Yeah.
Really? You
It's
sure
a
about-
rough one.
Are you sure? Yeah, that's the tough one
Yeah.
for everybody, don't you think?
Oh, yeah. I mean, not everyone has a sweet tooth, but the people that do, I do rephrase it like that. I say, you have a sugar addiction. Let's not make it
Okay, I
cute
know I
and
do.
take off the accountability.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a sweet tooth. No, you have a
Right.
sugar addiction.
Yeah.
100% I
And
do.
let's treat it like that.
But wait a minute. Are you going to make me stop caffeine?
Not if it's not a problem. But again, so going back to what I'm looking for, and we mentioned this in the session, when food stuff, and caffeine's included in that, whenever food stressors come up with the body, we're looking at the amount that you're consuming it in. So let's say you're having
Shit.
3 cups of coffee a day,
I
7
remember it
days a
did
week.
come up. You told me
Yes.
I'm going to have to cut back. Damn.
But we don't know how much yet. So like, for example, and I'll use a different example to show what I mean. So I have a client, she comes in and has eggs 5 days a week. Eggs show up for her as stressful. She has eggs 4 days a week. Eggs are not stressful for her. So we know that she
Interesting.
can have X amount of servings of eggs
Yeah.
or eggs per week. So we'll do the same thing for caffeine. If you tell me I have 3 cups of caffeine 7 days a week, so that's 21 servings. Maybe your serving is 20. Maybe it's 10, maybe
Okay.
it's 5. We don't know. We're going to play with that. And that's where the food log comes into play so we can track it.
I'll be honest. I wish I could be that like fitness coach that is so dialed in that never breaks structure. Like I can't. It drives me nuts that I can't be like that.
You'd be a cyborg.
Well, yeah, but like so there's so many guys in my arena that are like
No,
that.
they're not.
Well, so they say they are.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
I can't do it. Like I just have all these like nutrition flaws and like
Oh, jeez.
battles. They're battles. Like my sugar addiction, my caffeine addiction. Like it's really, really hard.
But you're willing to say that, and you're willing
Yes.
to do the work.
Yes.
There's
Yes.
probably a lot of people, and we see it in yoga
Sure.
industry, all the industries
Yeah.
that are health and wellness related. People are afraid to show what they're struggling with because they're supposed to be the expert.
Yeah.
It happened to me before too. You know, I was afraid to say like I'm having skin issues because I'm supposed to be the authority here on health and wellness. So it takes a lot to be like,
Yeah.
you know what, this is an arena I'm struggling in. I'm working on it.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm excited to go through this process with you. Oh, this is part of my human design. Like one of the best things I can do
Yes.
is to go experience things, and then that becomes my best tools to help the clients that I work with.
Yep.
So I'm super excited to go
Because
through
you can
this
speak
process.
to it
Yeah.
after you've been through it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, so like I have all these challenges that I'm constantly battling that I wish I could just like say, oh yeah, like to stop alcohol for as long as I have, like that was huge for me. But to be able to like stop caffeine, I've tried to do that before. It lasts maybe a month. And then once I have 1 cup, it's back. Sugar,
Well, so-
I've never been able to cut out.
So what we did with Raquel is, and this is what I do with all my clients, we never take anything away without either replacing it or supplementing it. So I didn't say no more caffeine. I said, have you tried Dandy
Yes.
Blend?
She was so
Have
smart.
you tried a
Oh, is that what
dandelion
I'm gonna
Yes.
use,
extract?
Dandy Blend? Okay.
We met at Fermentation Farm for another shout out. They need to sponsor us by now. And you were drinking that when we met for our consultation. And she let me try it. And I thought, holy smokes, this stuff is good. I haven't looked back. And I saw that Tiki Barber is one of their spokespersons for it. Did you know that?
Yeah.
The ex-football player?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
He loves it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hey,
There we go.
yeah.
So we'll never say like no more chips, no more Reese's, no more coffee. We're gonna say, hey, try this.
Instead.
Hey, try this. And
That's
I think
so
that's where a lot
smart.
of people struggle is, and especially people that are newly trying to get healthy or change their lifestyle, is they're so focused on what they have to remove or get rid of in their life, and they feel that gap. You know,
Yes. You have a hole in my heart.
Yes, where coffee used to be. So if you replace it and you give someone something to, you know, supplement that or fill that gap, like you say, it's a lot easier to change.
Makes sense. Makes so much sense.
Interesting. I like
Okay,
it.
then what do we replace to make me start eating meat after 30 years? That was
Replace
crazy.
what?
Well, I mean, that's wild now that I think back on that I began doing that. I don't know. I think I just was thinking I needed to get, after talking to you, more protein, more protein, more protein.
Yeah, you were a godsend at that moment.
Yeah.
I remember that's when we first DM'd. You were like,
Yeah.
"Hey, we're getting Raquel on meat. I love it."
It's true. It's true. And I still am kind of, well, you know what? It's just back to what we talked about. Was it 2 episodes ago or the last one? But all these perfect, this is the diet, this is the
Yeah.
way, you know, ends up screwing us. Because,
Yeah.
you know, it was the Engine 19, Engine 6. Do you remember that diet? That was all food, plant-based. and okay, you're going to live longer if this is what you do, or but no, now they're showing we're going to live longer if this is what you do. It's very confusing.
Oh yeah. Oh,
So
it's
that's
super
why
confusing.
I think what you do, and it shows people, oh, I'm responding to this, kind of like what you were talking about. Oh, this is great. You're not going to attach yourself to any one thing if it's working for them.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And more importantly, it's quality. So
Yes.
like, yes, eating meat and animal protein is great, but what quality are we looking at? Because yes, I'd much rather go out and have a vegetarian meal than a conventionally farmed steak. I would.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah.
Or going to Cane's to have
For
chicken
sure.
is
Yeah.
not really,
It's not the
even though the
same.
kids all love that.
God, my
do your kids love it?
Yes.
Mine
You
do
know,
too.
I've never had Cane's.
Don't ever
I
do
haven't
it.
either.
It's horrible.
I mean, I've had all the other ones.
Yeah.
But I've
No,
never
the
had
kids
Cane's.
love it right
Yes.
now. I don't know what the deal is with that.
I
It's
don't
the
think they
big
have it in
thing.
Florida, so I didn't grow up eating it.
Yeah,
I
I'd never
haven't.
had it either before here.
Do you know that I've never had an In-N-Out burger?
You're
What?
No, never. Because
we need to go.
I stopped. That's what everyone says. Because I stopped eating meat. I was working at the Claim Jumper restaurant.
Oh yes, you told me.
Yes, and I worked there. You know, we're slanging the beef, the pork ribs, and the beef, and I think I got so grossed out by all of the. And the one time that the ribs flew off the plate when I was coming around the corner, and they said, just pick them back up and put them on the grill again. Really, right?
That's so
and then go, I know. But that just ruined me for meat, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'd never had In-N-Out, because then when In-N-Out got really popular, I already was past my meat eating stage. But something's right. There's a line around that building
It's so
at
good.
all times.
I'm bringing it out to one of these.
You do it, and we'll go.
Yeah.
But it's not good cold. Like if you don't eat it
No, it
right
has to
away.
be right away.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
I'm not the biggest In-N-Out fan. My
You're not.
fiance loves it. Like
Anytime
if I
you-
have
He's a
dinner
good man.
plans or anything, he's like, "Oh, I'm going In-N-Out tonight." Like, this is my chance.
I love it.
But yeah, I mean, I'll eat it once in a while.
And what's his go-to?
Well, he gets
Does
a
he do
3x3, two 3x3s.
Okay, wait, what's that? What's
so
that?
that's 3 patties.
Oh, wow.
I get a single or double patty, no bun.
Okay.
It's protein style.
Right.
I do protein style, animal style.
And what's
he does
animal
two
style?
3x3s.
I should know this. I'm embarrassed to say. What's animal style?
I might get it wrong. It's
doubt
spread
Oh, okay.
and grilled onions.
Oh, is that
I
what it is?
think.
Yeah, because I don't
Yeah.
like it. So.
Oh, you don't?
I don't like animal style.
Really?
I'm not an onions fan.
You like raw onions or no onions?
No onions.
I love onions.
I know, me too.
Ugh.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about me ruining your animal style.
Okay.
man.
Okay.
My kids
good
love to
know.
order it because they know I won't take any of it.
Oh, that's funny. Isn't there an animal style fry?
Yeah. So they put spread, grilled onions, and cheese. So it's like
It makes
cheese
your
fries.
fries soggy, doesn't it?
Well, In-N-Out's fries aren't great as it is,
Oh.
in my opinion.
Okay, you're not going for the fries.
No.
You're going for the
I'm going for
burgers.
my fiance. I'm not going for
Oh,
me.
I
anything.
love that. Look how sweet that is. She's going for a fiance. Yeah, love it. I love it. So I honestly do owe her for helping me get back into.
That was the biggest
Yeah.
game changer for you.
Yeah, it has been, and I was really kind of afraid. I remember did you have chili and you let me taste
Yeah.
it? And I was like, oh my God, this is like 30 years. I mean, it's so weird to think about that
Yeah.
it had been
No.
that long.
Yeah. I mean, I was a vegetarian for a long time.
Were you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was young, like young when I decided it. I was young enough where I was like, wait, chicken comes from chickens? Oh, I'm out. I didn't eat steak. I didn't
Right.
eat anything. And my family was, my dad's side was Italian. So everyone was like, what are we going to feed her? Noodles? Like,
Yeah.
And I did. And it wrecked my stomach being vegetarian for so long from such a young age.
Isn't that interesting?
But yeah, I went abroad in college. I went to New Zealand. I didn't know anybody. I was just there kind of doing my thing. And my body was like, you need to eat meat. I was like, that's weird. I haven't done that in forever.
Yeah.
And it just kept coming up. My body was like, you need to eat meat. You need to eat meat. So finally, when I came back home, had a rack of ribs and never turned back.
Wow.
So I have a question for you on that. So I'm a big believer that animal protein is one of the best food sources we can have as human beings. And I find I really push my clients in the nicest way possible. Like if somebody's like my daughter was a vegetarian for a number of years. I fully supported it because like you, she's like, I'm not eating that animal. I love animals.
Right.
But if people are like, I don't know what to eat, and I'm not vegetarian, I'm not vegan, I'm like, you got to have animal meat. Do you support that? Do you think animal meat is, from your work, that you see that as well?
Yes. I mean, I saw it firsthand for me change my life, my skin, my body, my mental health. Oh my gosh. I'm a different person than when I wasn't eating animal protein. Because when you're not eating animal protein, you're really not eating a full protein source anyway. So like I had someone come in who wasn't really eating meat either, and I'm looking at her food log and I said, well, you only eat carbs and fat. Well, because she came in like, I have such a sweet tooth. I feel like I'm gaining weight. I'm exercising. Nothing's happening. I said, well, you eat fat and carbs. That's it. We need protein to do all the things you want to do. Yeah. And so I always offer that, but people have to be ready. You know, I couldn't have come to you 5 years ago and said, you need to start eating meat. You'd be like, no, what? I don't do that.
You're probably
But you were ready. You felt that and you started to get curious about it. And so I tell people, you know, if you're not ready for that, we'll, you know, we can supplement, we can do this, and we can work our way there. But just know you'll get to where you want to be a lot faster if you prioritize animal protein. And again, quality animal protein.
Yeah. I had another client of mine, her name's Holly. I'm so like excited for her because she's been working out really hard. Wasn't really seeing much results. And I finally had a conversation like, you got to eat more meat. And she bought in and she started, and it was tough for her. Saying like most people are like, oh, I don't really like meat. Like that.
Right.
And now she is killing it.
Really?
I told her that, I'm like, you got to buy new leggings. Every time you walk in, your leggings are baggy. Like, come on. Like, it's awesome. And she's around my age. I mean, 48, right around my age somewhere. Like, I just see protein, especially for women, being such the game changer for changing how their body looks.
Yeah. Well, because we naturally want to hit our protein intake. So whether you do that with one steak or 20 cookies, you're going to hit it. Yeah. So what does a steak do to your body?
That is such an interesting point.
Yeah. Versus what does 20 cookies do to your body? You mean
inherently our bodies are knowing.
Just think about like when you are hungry or snacking, you keep reaching for something. You're never really satisfied until you hit that point, which we don't always notice it as this, but it's you're hitting your protein intake.
Interesting.
So, like I said, let's say a cookie has 1 gram of protein in it. So you have 50 of them or whatever it is exactly. That's why nobody's like, oh, I need 3 steaks. You know, they can have 1, maybe 2 for bigger guys, but like they're set.
That's wild.
I've heard if you eat enough protein, cravings really subside.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the first thing I tell people with sugar addiction, sweet tooth. Prioritize protein. And then if you still want something sweet, have a little bit, but you'll watch that craving go away.
Which I noticed, like, I did not eat well yesterday because I was so big. I did not eat until I got to dinner. And so I was wrecked by that point. So I noticed when my protein intake is down is when I am the greatest risk. It's always between dinner and bedtime when it's going to be the train wreck's going to hit. And it's always when I'm not eating enough that day where it's over. If there's stuff in the house. Because you're foraging
for that protein in the pantry.
Yeah. Everywhere that's not good.
Well, it really is true that when you're eating, you know, if you're making a grass-fed steak, cooking it in butter, like I do now, you're right. You're not eating a whole, you know, I'll do, you know, grilled asparagus, whatever, and white rice, and you're not really super hungry. Although, I do still like my dark chocolate, as we've talked about. I really love that still.
That's okay.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and I'm not saying this is true for you necessarily, but sometimes it's just a habit. It's a ritual.
Probably.
You know?
Probably.
Whether you either want it or not, you're like, okay, now it's time for my chocolate.
Yes, you're
and
right.
that's where some people can get in trouble when it's not just that one piece of chocolate. It's like, and now my bag of chips. They just make that ritual for themselves without thinking if they actually want it.
Yeah.
But yeah, what your meals consist of will determine your mood, your weight, the shape of your body, your energy levels, your sleep, everything. I remember in college I would have Starbucks coffee and one of their loaves or muffins or something.
I've heard the lemon loaf is really good.
It's a rumor you've heard. Jeez.
Someone told me. But yeah, I would have carbs, sugar, fat, and caffeine. And then what do you know? I'm craving stuff all day. I need a sweet treat. My lunch isn't as satisfying because I'm only eating it so that I can have dessert. Like it's just, it sets you up for this roller coaster of problems.
Yes. Yeah. So tell us about what you would have in a day. Give us
in a typical day.
A typical day.
really don't eat anything fun or sexy. Like that's what I tell people.
That's okay.
I'll wake up and have some rotisserie chicken for breakfast.
I love that, though.
I'll just sit there and pull it apart
that's
and have
perfect.
rotisserie chicken.
I love that.
For lunch, I'll either have chicken or steak with arugula, olives, olive oil.
Delicious.
Lots of salt. I love salt.
What do you use? Sea salt?
I use Redmond sea salt.
Okay.
Yeah. And then for dinner, steak or chicken. Sometimes fish every once in a while, and then a protein or a salad or a vegetable. But I've dealt with a lot of issues with mold toxicity and MCAS, which is mast cell activation syndrome. So a lot of foods I'm still like reintroducing, because when you have MCAS specifically or histamine issues, which is what I had, lots of foods that are, healthy or on paper great for you, like pineapple, would throw me into a flare. Broccoli, cauliflower, spinach. I would just break out all over. And so that was my problem for so many years, is I'm like, I'm eating so well. Like, what is happening to me? And it wasn't until I realized that I had a histamine issue. So I have to be careful about high histamine foods. But I'm starting to like slowly reintroduce them and have like a more, I guess, normal diet.
right.
But yeah, when people ask me what I eat, I'm like, well, I'm working on certain things. So your diet will and should look different unless you have the same issues as me, which is never going to happen. Everyone's so unique.
Yeah.
But
That makes me think, though, about your reset book and about certain fruits and things that have been lauded as these incredible health foods, blueberries being one of them, broccoli being another, that you were saying a lot of people do have issues with.
That just came from doing food sensitivity testing on so many people, which is a test that looks at inflammatory responses to food. And so all I did in my book is I had 350 tests, and I just went through and pulled out all the most common sensitivities. And that's how I came up with that list. Right. It wasn't like I am offended by any of them. A lot of them are great foods.
Right.
Right.
It was just HarperCollins like, look, we can't make people go out and do a $450 blood test, come up with a solution. So that was my solution. And we tested it and it worked. Yeah, we weren't getting all the food triggers out of people's diets, but we were getting some big ones out.
Yes.
I'm sure they were all high oxalate foods.
Probably, yeah.
Like tomatoes.
Especially the fruits and vegetable ones,
Yeah.
It was those, and then like the fruits and vegetables people tend to overeat. Like
broccoli.
Broccoli. That's like the number one most common vegetable people eat. Like go to any restaurant, it's always broccoli.
Yes. Yeah.
Blueberries good for my brains. People eat. I remember sitting in the entryway of HarperCollins, about to walk into a meeting with them and present this to them. Like, I am going to tell them that I think people should take blueberries out of their diet.
I want to hear why, because I love blueberries.
It was just a very common food sensitivity in all the tests I had run.
Really? That's so interesting.
But as I was sitting there in the lobby, I'm watching all these people in New York City walking in with bags of blueberries. Like, I would say 80% of people walking in it was like my sign, like, oh, that's why. It's because people are just eating them every day. They're overexposed to them, so the immune system is just too triggered by them. So people will just get them off of it for that 3-week phase, and they start reintroducing them, and they're fine. It's a very low level response thing, but enough of an issue where it was causing sensitivities and stressors on their bodies to just help get rid of that. But yeah.
Very interesting, though.
Yeah. There was, like I said, there's no magic, like I don't have any problem with any of the foods. It's just I had 350 blood tests that I had done. And I went through every single one and just documented every sensitivity those people had. And that was the list that I came up with. All the ones that were the most common amongst that group of 350 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's just another example of how there isn't a one size fits all in anything.
Yeah.
In diet, in what is, within the parameters of one's diet, it's not going to look, like you said, people say, well, what do you eat, Shelby?
Right.
Just tell me so I can do exactly what you're doing.
Yes. And that's why I don't really like to do like what I eat in a day. And I don't like really watching other people's, because it's so different. What I have on a day where I'm super busy, or on a day where I'm dealing with flare-ups, or a day, where I'm at in my cycle, like it's just always going to be different. And I want people to learn how to trust their body and listen to their intuition on what they should be eating. Because what you eat may not be good for me, and vice versa. And
that's a fascinating thing, because we are taught from very young, this is how you do it. We are taught
diet.
we're taught very young, like, no, this is how you do it. Like, this is the way.
And it's what propaganda you subscribe to. So
Yeah.
I subscribe to vegetarianism. So I was like, oh, I'm with PETA and I
Yeah.
only eat vegetables
Yeah.
and it's a blood-free diet, which it's absolutely not. But like, it's just what you subscribe to. So if you subscribe to the food pyramid, that's what you believe. Veganism, vegetarianism, carnivorism, like it's just what you subscribe to.
Yeah.
So true.
We had the best video of my little boy when he was little. I said, buddy, do you like vegetables? And when he was young, little, he says, I like vegetables, but do we have meat? And I was like, oh, you like meat? He goes, yeah. I'm a carnivore, Dad.
No.
He was super
How
into
old was he?
dinosaurs. He was probably 3.
Oh, that's so cute.
Super into
That's so
dinosaurs,
cute.
and he correlated to the carnivores.
Oh, okay.
So he was a meat
All right.
eater.
Yeah.
Not a bad thing for a little boy to be.
No. It's the cutest thing. It's my favorite video of him when he
Yeah,
was
That's
little.
awesome.
Yeah, too funny.
So if someone wants to do the testing with you, Shelby, tell everyone how to find you, what it entails, all the things.
Yeah. So you can find me on Instagram at Moonray Wellness or at Shelby Torrese. You can book with me directly. I have a link in my bio. It's a 60-minute session your first time, and then after that, it's 30-minute sessions. But yeah, that first initial consult, we'll go through an HRV test. We'll see if you're blocked. We'll see if you're switched. We'll see what organ is your priority. And then I'll say, okay, this is the protocol I would put you on. Here's what it means to do my program and work with me. If you're ready for it, great. I'll send you all the info. If you're not ready for it, I'll still send you all my info. And if and when you're ever ready, you know how to find me.
That's awesome.
I love it.
So you're not pushing.
Oh, no. I don't want to work with someone that doesn't want to work with me.
That's so smart. So smart.
I learned that the hard way. I wanted, in my first year of business, the first, even I would say month, I was like, oh, I got to get clients. I got to get people in here. And then I had to really step back and like, you know what? I want to make a difference.
Yes.
I want to help people, and I can't help people who aren't willing to help themselves. I'm
Such
here
a
to
valid
just
point.
walk you through the process. I'm not here to do anything for you. So if you're not ready to do it for yourself, we're not a good fit, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we have you back on the show in a few
Yes.
months?
Oh, yeah.
To go over like my experience with you.
And I need to do
you do it. And
bed.
we'll just kind of share what our experience was like, what our results were like. I think that'd be really cool.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd love that.
So people that are intrigued can be like, oh, well, does it work? And then
Yeah.
we can share like, oh, this is what we experienced, how it was, what the process was
Definitely.
like. I think that'd be really cool.
Totally. Thanks for having me, guys.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, it was so much fun having
Yeah.
you.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
And thank you for putting up with me and my
Vibrator.
vibrator.
So cool, my Lord.
What you don't know doesn't kill you.
That's right. That's right. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks
Great
for
having
having
you.
me.